Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Partnership for Profits. I am Will Brooks. Once again, second time today, second podcast for the day. We got a great guest this afternoon. It's somebody who knows Amazon from the inside out, and now he's helping brands conquer it from the outside in. We got Joshua Lee, who is the founder and CEO of First Light Studios. Joshua, how you doing, man? It's good to have you on the podcast.
Doing well, Will. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here and just share a little bit about what's going on in the e-com world.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to learn more about it because it's not really my it's not my backyard. So I'm excited to kind of dive in and see what you have going on. So tell me a little bit about First Light Studios and what you guys do there.
Absolutely. So we're a full service e-commerce agency, mainly Amazon first, and we drive multi-million-dollar growth for brands and manufacturers that want to do more online. So core customers, usually somebody who sells maybe into Walgreens, CVS, Walmart brick and mortar.
Cool.
And knows that they have to do Amazon well, given that online US e-commerce just in the United States is 1.2 trillion, going to be 1.2 trillion this year.
And
that's
growing.
US e-commerce alone, and it's growing. Amazon has about 40% of that. So, we're talking 600.
Amazon has 40% of the e-commerce?
It does. Yep, US e-commerce.
I don't know why I thought that would be a higher number. I mean, 40% is a huge chunk. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But I just figured that they had more than that at this point.
Yeah, so. But I mean, you got eBay, you got Shopify, you got, Walmart.com now.
Yeah,
you've got your other .com websites. So, 40% is huge, though.
It's a massive chunk. Most
definitely. Bill. Yeah.
Very cool, man. That's cool that's kind of the lane that you guys are playing in. So I was reading about you and I saw that you actually worked at Amazon before you started First Light Studios. So what did you learn from the inside being at Amazon that most brand owners on the outside are not seeing?
Absolutely. And I will say that I specifically have actually not worked at Amazon.
I thought you had. My bad. Okay.
Yeah, no, a lot of our team has actually. So they're former Amazonians. But I used to work at an Amazon agency that was founded by Amazon guys. I was just being in Seattle. You almost half your neighbors work at Amazon sometimes.
Sure.
Different teams, of course. But, I would say I had a chance to work really closely in that agency early on and basically learn what it means to grow a business from the inside and the metrics that Amazon employees look at in order for brands to succeed and get preferential treatment on the platform. A lot of that has gone away now, but I would say a lot of those learnings are the backbone of what we still do. So there are sort of 9 foundational pillars that we still build off of. And so growth, it's not always glitz and glamour, but it's really focusing on the fundamentals with anything. And so, you hear a lot of times athletes continuing to work on their footwork or some basic drills, right?
We're doing 1,000 free throws every day. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. The same thing goes for running and growing an Amazon e-commerce business. There are fundamentals that you just have to stick to and get really good at. And we just happen to be really good at the basics.
Right on. So the title of this episode that we've got out is the number 1 mistakes brands make when selling online. So let's get right to it. Yeah. What is the number 1 mistake that brands are making when they're selling online in your mind?
There are a lot of mistakes that everyone makes. Brands particularly, there's no focus. So sometimes, and it's not really a mistake that brands make, but it actually comes down to a leadership problem. The leadership problem is that there's no future vision or focus on a specific KPI. And so that has to be there in order to understand what the Amazon marketplace or the e-commerce marketplace needs to be, because people use the Amazon channel for all different kinds of reasons. Some use it to drive brand new net customers, new, they call it new to brand customers, people who haven't ever used your product for the first time, because maybe say their brand is really old and they're kind of dying out. So they're using it as a way to get new customers. Others who are winners in the category already, they're using it as a way to stay top of mind and stay in that leadership position. So Amazon has become a pay to play marketplace where if you want to stay a leader and you want to continue to be on page one, be seen when someone searches for a generic term, you have to pay for that position and you have to invest in it. And so some people, a lot of multinationals, they'll operate that way. If you're already a leader in, say, tortilla chips or some, tissues or something like that, Kleenex, that's how they'll operate. Others, are just launching for the first time. They want to make a dent, and Amazon becomes sort of a way to get on the map for retailers. So a lot of times buyers at these retail locations, like if you're speaking with a buyer at Walmart or Walgreens, they'll look at your Amazon site and they'll see how you're doing, how many reviews you have. It actually shows how many units you've sold in the last month now.
Okay.
That actually gives the retailer knowledge that they're going to make a profit from bringing your brand into their stores. So I think the number one mistake is not having a vision, a focus, not assigning a KPI to the marketplace. So, maybe it's a certain profit margin, maybe it's, gross sales, you want to hit a certain number. And so you kind of have to do a little bit of that work beforehand. But yeah, I would say that's the number one thing. And then, that's the number
I
one
got you.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're a new brand, you started, let's say you developed a product. Let's say it's I don't know, you've got a new type of tennis shoe you've put out. You're starting your own shoe company. How are you going to, as a new business, how do you get that foothold in Amazon? Like, does it start off of Amazon first, where you're kind of maybe go on social media, kind of promoting things there, and then you kind of move in that direction? What's the roadmap for getting those sales going on Amazon? What does that look like for a new business?
Yeah. So really interesting. Capital is having more money wins, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
And, my short answer would be launch everywhere at the same time.
Okay.
But that's just not feasible. And so if you have a specific budget amount, and if you're launching a tennis shoe for the first time, you just got to go after the lowest hanging fruit that's cost effective. Amazon, it is, especially if you're new to Amazon, the learning curve is very large.
Sure.
And it may not be a channel that you launch with first. I think there needs to be a lot of groundwork for Amazon to work, particularly in the tennis shoe market. But it really depends. And we follow kind of a framework, but the very first thing we want to consider is profit margin. Are we going to be profitable? And so we look at all the costs. Second thing is the competitive landscape, right? A category like tennis shoes, hyper competitive.
Sure, of course.
You got Hoka, you got Brooks, you got Adidas. Nike just got on last month. They were off for a while. Now they're back on.
Okay.
Amazon. And so Amazon, if you want to compete, that's not the place to do it.
So would it make sense then to kind of start niching it down and kind of, let's focus on this market and hit this, maybe it's a type of shoe that works for one particular type of sport, and you're kind of hitting that market hard and then kind of work your way up to Amazon? Is that kind of the idea?
That is the idea, if you don't have the time and the budget to do so.
Right.
I think having an Amazon presence, it legitimizes your business a bit, to my earlier point about getting into retailers. So you want to do that setup at least. But when you start to think about driving growth in terms of sales and profit, that's a long game on Amazon. And starting with social first, like your Shopify site, TikTok shop, even, reaching out to influencers and running some influencer campaigns. Those are usually higher ROAS, return on ad spend, campaigns, and you just get a lot more bang for your buck. Amazon is it's continually getting more sophisticated because of how much market share they have, and how much money Amazon's making from the platform as well.
Right.
And how many Prime users they have. I think 250 million worldwide. I don't know how much is in the United States, but yeah, it definitely is a channel you can't ignore. But if you're launching for the first time, no VC funding, just on your own, I would maybe consider elsewhere.
So the kind of related to that, you're talking about the size of Amazon and how many users there are, and we all know how much money this company is raking in on a minute by minute basis. It's just
Oh,
mind blowing.
for
So
sure.
do you feel like Amazon has some kind of responsibility to help smaller businesses, smaller brands kind of launch? Or is it just like, whoever's got the most money, that's who we're going to that's who we're going to put our power behind? I don't know. I feel like, they could do a lot to help, and maybe they are doing a lot to help small businesses. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I feel like I don't see a lot of that, but I feel like they could be. Do you feel like they have a responsibility with the size that they are to kind of help out the little guy?
It really comes down to, I don't know all of Amazon's core values, but I think there's like a 12 of them or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know what they believe and the mark they want to leave on the world is. So it's hard for me to answer that question. I want to say yes, but in terms of a company, they might not actually believe it and use it more as PR. I don't know. They do have programs like the Black Accelerator program where you get a bunch of free credits if you're a Black majority founder, Black-owned business. I think they have programs for if you are a brand new company selling on Amazon for the first time, you get a year of complimentary account management service. It's very limited though. So you still need to like drive that direction. And they have a bunch of programs to make that easy. I mean, in the last couple of years, they've invested in the Seller University. It's like a free, learn how to sell on Amazon course, which is very basic, but it's better than nothing. When I started 8 years ago, there was nothing. So way better now than back then. I think in terms of, right, like a core part of our customer base right now is US based manufacturers. And, some of them are family owned, some of them are private equity owned. But I personally have a huge heart for, legacy brands that has been around since, great grandpa 100 years old. But they just never adopted the online piece.
So they're behind the 8 ball.
They're way behind, so much so that they're trying to sell the company. There's no buyers because they're showing sort of a decline in sales.
Right.
No growth opportunity, and all their operational, ways of doing things are old school. So, as a investor mindset or a buyer, that becomes unattractive, unfortunately.
So is that part of what you guys are doing to help companies like that out, to kind of update those operational, those procedural things that they have going on, and obviously integrate them into Amazon, that kind of stuff? That's part of what you guys are doing to help those businesses out
on the online side. Yeah. So if they want to try to revitalize growth and turn the online channel on, so that 1.2 trillion that I talked about, if they want to start tapping into that and growing, that's what we help create in terms of a revenue generator for them.
Cool. That's great. So you mentioned legacy brands, like older brands, family brands. I think that's awesome that you guys are wanting to work in that space. I think I read that you think storytelling really matters. I feel like storytelling is super important when it does come to like a legacy, older company, been around for 100 years or something. Like there's a story behind that. How can a brand get that story across in a marketplace like Amazon that a lot of times it feels like it's all about price? Because you're looking for the lowest price on there, and convenience, because like is it available on Prime? Can I get it in 2 days? So how can a brand kind of incorporate story and still work the Amazon machine to their benefit?
Yeah, yeah, and that's a great question. It's a complex question, but let me just try to answer it very quickly.
Sure.
Um, there, you do need to set up well on Amazon. Um, and that might mean investing in some design work and some proper account management work to make sure that all your UPCs are tying together into your account, that all your pricing is according to MAP. So, a lot of times, if you're a manufacturer, you've been doing business for a long time, you have customers, and you never had a MAP policy, but now you want a MAP policy so
Wait,
that
wait,
somebody.
time out. What's a MAP policy? I don't even tell me what that is.
MAP policy is minimum advertised price.
Okay,
So it's basically saying you cannot sell our product for less than
got
27.99.
it. Okay, cool.
And so that way a website can't come in and be like, hey, we're going to go 25.99. But the problem is that manufacturers, they didn't have a MAP policy, or they have such long time customers, or they have a customer that is huge for them. So they don't push that MAP to them because there's a concentration risk, and there's a risk of making that customer upset.
Right.
And that actually is super prevalent in the legacy brands right now. It's a huge problem. And some are having the courage to take control back and say, hey, you need to stick to this pricing, and or we're going to cut you off Amazon, Walmart. These are our channels. These are marketplaces that, are our channels to sell on. But I would say setting up your storefront well, making sure your images aren't from the 1990s, and making sure that you can actually read the titles, and that you don't have 5,000 sellers selling your product. You have no idea where they bought it from, whether it was from a pallet clearance or could have been Chinese knockoff, who knows? And you just need to clean all that up, and I would invest in that, because most of the time consumers are doing research on Amazon now. They're interested in a soap, right?
100%. Yeah.
And a lot of times prime shoppers, they're looking for the brand. Particularly if you're legacy, there's going to be a core customer base that's already looking for your brand. And you can check it on Amazon. Just look at your own stuff, and if you start seeing like 500 plus units sold, 1,000, that's worth investing in, because you can 10x that. Especially if you actually have a product that you're willing to stand behind and it's still quality and it's not poisoning the world in some way, or
So
poisoning kids with lead-based paint or something.
yeah. So you're saying, and I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Potential investors are looking at Amazon to see those legacy brands, see how they're doing, and if they're looking at numbers like that, they're going to be a lot more likely to invest in that company. Is that where you're coming from?
Totally. I mean, from an investor lens, if you're thinking about exit planning, they're going to hire somebody like me, or ask someone like me. Like I have people that I do, investment bankers that will call me, people I know, and they'll just say, hey, can you look at this like company? Like, what do you think? And then I'll give my thoughts just from seeing their Amazon.com site. I can already tell how they're operating as a company, what their decision making is. Just inferences based on the dozens and the hundreds of business owners that I've already talked to before. I can already make that kind of, the pattern matching is there for me. I haven't documented it anywhere, but I would say having an online presence is makes you way more sellable.
Cool. Yeah, 100%. And I think that, I don't think that is exclusive to B2C. I think the online presence, it applies. We do a lot of B2B business in it with what we do, and I think it applies there as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, works both ways. So, at one point you were managing, what was it, 57 million in GMV within 6 months. So, what's the secret to scaling that fast without burning out or breaking your system?
I would say for us, I got pretty fortunate in that really the majority of that was one client. And so
Okay,
just landed a really big client,
got a whale. Yeah.
got a whale, but really what it was a commitment to stick to one process. to show up every day, sticking to one process for business development, and just did it for 90 days. And it was September, ended in December. No, October.
October to December.
Started in late September. So basically October.
So Q4.
Basically by Christmas, the week before Christmas, I had like a contract signed and we were going basically.
Nice.
And that was just a commitment to following a process, even though I didn't see any of the results. I just committed, showed up, did the work, put in the dials or whatever it is, sent out the emails,
right?
Had my metric, and just stuck to the process every day, Monday through Friday, no days off, and
avoided. Did you have to avoid the shiny objects?
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I just committed. And
right.
This is what one of my coaches said in the past. They're like, hey, just commit for 3 months. You could do anything for 3 months. Just commit. And that's what I did. And that's the result that came out of that. So yeah.
I guess the results are what lets you avoid burning out, right? If you're seeing those results, you can keep doing it. If you are beating your head against the wall for 3 months or for 6 months or however long and nothing's happening, that's when people get burnt out. So
I also think burnout is doing too many tasks day in and day out that are sort of taking your energy away.
Yeah.
Like if you did like an energy audit, went through your 2 weeks, listed out everything you did. Green, you love doing. Red, you didn't love. You want to try and remove a lot of that red to somebody else. You want to stay as much
in the green as possible, for
right,
sure.
Because then you'll burn out. But I think for a short amount, if you time block it and you just say, I'm going to do this grindy thing for a short amount of time, you can do it. And then, the burnout ideally is prevented through the other hours of your life. So good sleep, good family, maybe good relationship with your kids, your faith, working out, whatever it is. Because the professional life is just one aspect of it.
Right. 100%. I agree. I'm always trying to make sure I put in that extra time with aside from the work stuff, or you will definitely get burnout. So let's wrapping up here. Joshua, when you look at where e-commerce is heading, what do you see as the biggest opportunity for brands that want to stand out, and what's the biggest risk if they don't adapt?
You just need more eyeballs. Brands need to be top of mind, and with AI in this day and age, AI can increase your productivity. A lot of people don't want to implement AI or are afraid of AI for a lot of great reasons. But the fact is that AI, even simple use of ChatGPT, it can rapidly increase your productivity. And so if you really want to stand out and you really want to do more with less, AI is a way to leverage that.
100%.
You need to be seen. You need to get yourself out there. You need to get on these iPhones and Samsung Galaxies through the Instagrams, through whether it's the Amazon app, whether it's the Instagram, TikTok. Pick one channel and just go hard on it, and commit for 3 months, right?
Yep.
And see what happens after that, and then look at the data and see what worked and what didn't work, and keep doing the thing that worked.
Love it. That's the right kind of message. That's what we're all about too. We work with a lot of business owners who are starting a podcast as a networking tool and a way to build up their referral network and to just network with people and kind of build it up in general. And what we tell people when they come in to start a podcast is, hey, this is not an overnight thing. You have to commit to this and give it. We tell them 6 months. Like, we're like, do this for 6 months and you're going to start seeing results. You're going to build out a network and people are going to start finding you if you are consistent with it. And there's a good volume of people of episodes that you're putting out. So it applies universally, man. Just the commitment is really the name of the game across the board for everything that we're doing. So love that, man. That's a great message to end on. Joshua, tell people out there how they can find you, how they can get in touch with you. We do have a lot of small business owners that check out the show. Some of them are doing B2C type work. Others might be looking to invest in something. So let people know how they can get in touch with you and how they can work with you.
Absolutely. And I would love to share a resource as well if anyone wants sort of a 20 page guide that we use internally on how to launch on Amazon well for the first time, some roadblocks, some things, some red flags to prepare for and look out for. You could DM me on Instagram at @OneJoshuaLee. Just Will Brooks. Just DM me that word and I'll send you over the Google Doc. But yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you giving us some time today. And those of you who are watching the live stream, we appreciate you guys checking it out. And if you're watching the recorded version on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, we appreciate you guys tuning in as well. Please make sure to give us a follow and a like and a subscribe and a stars and all that good stuff. Does a lot for getting the word out to people, letting people know what we're doing. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more episodes of the show. Joshua, this has been great, man. I really appreciate you popping in and giving us some knowledge on the world of getting right with Amazon. So appreciate it. Buddy.
Absolutely. So great to be here.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Will.
All right. Take care.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.